WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany, tasting often rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I have the Kilkerran 12. This is the third in my series. So I first of all did batch number 8 of the Kilkerran 8-year-old cask strength, fully matured in bourbon with 55.8%. Batch number 9 was the sherry with 57.5%, also 8 years of age. And now I have the 12-year-old. This was 109 euros. This was 129 euros. This here is 53. Let's go for 55 euros, all right? I find it between 55 and 65 euros online. Whiskybase number 226656. Now, on the back of the bottle, it does say a little bit of information about why it's not called Glengyle, but rather Kilkerran. I don't think they give the real reasons here. It says it would be unsuitable for the old Campbelltown distillery to be called after a glen, a custom more usually associated with the Speyside region. Nope. They just don't have the brand rights. All right? So, Kilkerran they had to use because Glengyle belongs to someone else. Now, it is a 12-year-old whiskey. It is 46%. It is non-chilled filtered and natural color. So all that information is there that we really need. Thank you very much. And what Kilkerran has done now since, is it 2016? Yes, it is. 2016 is the year they brought this first out, the 12-year-old. This is a standard release, a standard range. Now, the very interesting thing that I found, at least, is that it reached America once, 2016, and it reached America twice, 2019. Those are the 750 milliliter bottles. Since then, they've only been bottling Kilkerran 12 in the 700 milliliter bottles. So we've had quite a few bottlings since then. I can, at least Whiskybase names 49 of them. So that is a lot, but let's get rid of 8 of these because I don't think they're doubles and duplicates and so on. But still, we are running about 40 of the bottlings, so 38 for Europe and 2 for the US. A little bit of a shame. But very, 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 very interesting is just the fact of the price. Now, this is very close to the recommended retail price. So the 40, let's call it 55, 55, 59 euros is not bad, especially compared to when we see this at 109 and the sherry at 129. It is younger. It's 8 years old. This is 12. This is cask strength. This is 46%. So let's pour a little bit, and then I'm going to compare it to something, and let's see if you can guess what I'm going to compare it to. Now, I have 2 things I'm going to compare it to. The first thing I'm going to compare it to is Springbank. Springbank 10-year-old, 46%. Now, why am I going to compare it to this? Well, because they're both using exactly the same type of barley. Now, this actually has, according to my information online, they use barley that's been peated to 12 to 15 ppm. All right, double distilled. This has also some nice little, let's take a look here if it can, in my nice little book, if they still say how much of the, you're probably also screaming at me, Jason, everyone knows that their ppm is about this. So Springbank is still 2.5 times, and that's between 12 and 15. So this is distilled 2.5 times, this is distilled 2 times. This has the 12 to 15, this has the 12 to 15. So they're using the same malting floors, they're using the same barley, everything's the same, just 2 different distilleries, about, I'm going to say, 100 meters apart, 100 yards apart. Think of the distance of a football field. It might be a football field and a half. We did walk maybe 4 minutes from the Glengyle distillery over here to the mash tun, and behind the mash tun is the, over to the right is the Springbank distillery. I was there in May of 2022. Very, very interesting thing. So unfortunately here I do not have the composition of the casks used. I can tell you that this is Whiskybase number 169542, and it was bottled on the 14th of October 2022 and has the bottle code 20/129. So originally about 40-50 euros, now it's 130. All right, so Now going back to this, I also have a third glass. Why do I have a third glass? I took approximately 70% of this, added approximately 30% of this, and I diluted it down to approximately 46%. So I made my own Kilkerran 8-year-old. Not the 12, the 8. And the very, very first thing that I realize, if I smell this, I get a little bit of a lime zest. I get vanilla. I get a little bit of powdered sugar. I get a tiny little bit of maritime sea salt moment going on. And if I smell this, I get a lot more of the peat, of the smoke, of that phenolic moment going on. Now, it could be because the extra 4 years in the cask absorbed a lot of those ppms. The ppm that we're talking about between the 15 and 20, between the 12 and the 15%, 12 and 15 ppm parts per million, is of the barley, not of the whiskey after it's distilled. If you double distill a peated whiskey, you get rid of quite a lot of the phenolic content. If you triple distill it, you get rid of almost all of it. So that's what Teeling found out when they started making their black pits. Is at the very beginning they triple distilled a peated and it was like, where's the peat? And so they went back almost always to double distill the peated and do that instead, because then you still have some of the ppm in there. And then when you put in the cask, the longer it's in the cask, the more the cask absorbs those phenolic elements as well. And so an older whiskey that is peated has less peat than the young wild and strong peat at the very beginning. So this is 8, this is 12, so that might also be the reason. Maybe they did add some more of a heavily peated stuff in here, and maybe they added some here that had less of the, more of the 12 instead of the 15, I don't know. If I go over here to the Springbank, which is 2.5 times distilled with 12 to 15% ppm, I get a lot more of a fruitiness on this. I really, I enjoyed, not the right word. I'm not the biggest fan of Springbank. There are Springbank fanboys out there. I'm not in that category. I found this whiskey to be fairly pleasant. That's the way I want to put it. There's a fruitiness here in the 2020 bottling that I did not have in the 2021 and the 2022. Every time I smell this, it's like, did they throw in a Madeira cask in this? I mean, that's very nice. That's peaty and a little bit of the sulfur of the sherry cask. And here I get very, very little of the peat and very, very little of the sherry. All right, so let's try this here. Cheers. 46%, about 46%, 46%. Mm-hmm. There's a sourness to this, not like a citrus sour. It's like a cranberry. We have black cranberries, and we have the, I don't know, the yellow, the light cranberries. That's not yet ripe. It's a tart sourness. There's a tiny little bitterness going on here. It's like a lemon custard a little bit. That you forgot the sugar. Now there is sugar in here. Not sugar. There's a sweetness here from the vanilla of the oak of the bourbon cask predominantly. This is okay whiskey. Now I've tried the 3 whiskeys. I had the bourbon, the sherry, 8 years cask strength, and the 12-year-old here of Kilkerran. I now know that Kilkerran and I, we're just not friends. It's okay. There are certain distillery taste profiles that just do not sync with my taste buds. That's absolutely okay. More for you. Of the 3 that I've tasted so far, I do think that I actually like the 8-year-old with the sherry better. And then this and the 8-year-old with the bourbon was just not my cup of tea. There's a tartness at the end. There is a certain waxiness, and there are going to be people that love this whiskey. It's just not for me. This is solid C. It's not a C minus. It's definitely not a C plus. It's a C. Value for money, I'm going to give it a C minus because I think at this point of time, and this is going to be my question is, this over here in Germany runs around 70 euros if you can find it. They sell out so quickly, you can't even find them. This is under 60 euros. I propose to you that the new Springbank is going to be Kilkerran. Now, some of you are just laughing your heads off and say, I've never seen a Kilkerran. Now, once in the blue moon, I see a Springbank, but hey, Jason, how can you actually say that the Kilkerran is going to be at the moment the replacement for the Springbank? Because over here in Germany, these are available. Yeah, they've been out now for a couple months, and they come out every 2 or 3 or 4 times a year even. And so these have been, the 12-year-old Kilkerran are available in most online shops. And so this is something that we can get. And so if you really love this, this might actually be an alternative for you. Now, I personally would go for a Glen Scotia instead, but hey, that's me. All right, let's try this, the 2020. There's a fruitiness here that this just doesn't have. Every single time I've tried this, I would lay money on the table. There's Madeira in here. There's a little bit of Madeira there. I don't know. I really like this. This is good. Now, going over to my professional novice blend of 70% of the bourbon, 30% of the sherry and cask strength and diluted down. Wow. Burnt seaweed, iodine, more of that. The sherry has a little bit of sulfur going on in there as well. I might be at 48%, not 46%, but hey, it's just a ballpark figure here. My question, what is for you the alternative to Springbank? Now we have Springbank 10, we have the 12, we have the 15, 21, 25, and so on. I do have a 21 somewhere bunkered away, but I don't have a 25 even there. What is your alternative? Is it going to be Kilkerran? Is it going to be a Glen Scotia? Is it something from Islay? Is it Ben Romach? Is it a Highland Park? Is it Balvenie, Weka Peat? What is your alternative here for the Springbank that many people love and adored and now are often unattainable? It used to be that in Germany we'd actually be able to get something. And then YouTubers like me started talking about it, and then it suddenly disappeared. Yeah, we still get the same amount of bottles. We might even get more bottles than we used to, but more and more people are looking for it. And so therefore the prices have skyrocketed in a stratosphere that I'm not willing to pay. So, as I said, a solid C, C minus for the value for money. If you can find this, this is 10 euros cheaper than this at the moment. This is not available at the moment. This is. So this would be my alternative for that if you can find it. Thank you very much for watching, liking, subscribing, and telling others. See you soon. Whiskey Jason. Bye-bye.